Yeah.
And then the other was I experienced a betrayal some time ago, and it was a definite shock to my system, to my
Mm-hmm.
nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't really been able to inform my nervous system that it's can relax
Okay.
now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so when you say a shock, like something with a relationship or something with work or something like that, you don't have to
Yeah,
go
it
into
was a
details, just give me an idea.
yeah, it was like the rug being pulled out from you in a marriage.
Okay. So I would say a couple of things. For one, I would say, are you still feeling like a little bit in shock over the situation?
I think it's some time ago, so I think the shock is over, and it's like I've done, like forgiveness practices, but I'm still on guard and
Okay.
like
Yeah.
always searching.
How long ago did this happen?
It happened 5 years ago.
Okay. So I would say helichrysum. I would do helichrysum inhalation, and you could think of the situation. And then you could also put a few, like 4 or 5 drops in with like a little bit of lotion and rub it on the chest, like on the heart. Pulling you out of fight flight. I mean, if it was immediate, I would say tarragon. Like that is like, if we were talking, it was like this happened 2 weeks ago, and yada yada yada. I'd say tarragon is your new best friend. Tarragon still might be helpful, because like you said, like you used really good term there, like you're like on guard. And so that's the thing with trauma is when we have a traumatic event happen, there's a little piece of us that it's still in that space where that incident happened, and so it still feels like it's happening. So how much time has gone by sometimes is almost like confusing, because there's a piece of you that is still experiencing it right here, right now, right? And so the helichrysum will help reduce the trauma and help you move past the traumatic event. But like you said, I think there's a little bit of like a shock or an on guard component to it. And so you could try tarragon. The next thing I would say, this would probably be my first choice, actually. It would be marjoram. Marjoram, for a couple of reasons, right? So for one, marjoram's really activating to the heart. So it helps you to like integrate, and it helps you to transmute the emotional component to it, right? It also helps to deal with, like you said, you're working on forgiveness, and if there's like some resentment or something, most of that is generated at first in the body. Like it's not even necessarily always, there's an emotional component, a mental component, but your body also got betrayed and also goes into this like kind of crisis mode. And so the marjoram is really good for that. And marjoram pulls you out of fight flight significantly. And so you would inhale that, and or put several drops of it. Like for this, I would put it on your abdomen and on your low back area. The low back area is what we're kind of looking at and shooting for. Do you still have interactions with this person?
Yes.
Okay, so the other thing that I would maybe follow that up with is rue, like the thing rue. So for a couple of reasons. Rue helped you with getting pulled out of fight flight somewhat. It helps you to disconnect from negative connections with people. And it helps you deal with, it helps you to resolve conflict. And,
Okay.
even if everything is like okay, and you guys are getting along, like the new now is like you're getting along, but the old stuff is done. Um, there's still the conflict of the old stuff. You know what I mean? There's still like hurt feelings, and there's still of negotiating all the things and changes that happened in the relationship and the finances and the whatever it is. And so the root, you could just you don't even have to wear that one. You could put a couple drops on, but I would actually just inhale it right out of the bottle. Like I would just open it up and just take long, slow, deep breaths and think of the person, or the situation. I would do that every evening for 15, 20 breaths. And it does help to release the energetic connection between you and the person, especially the negative things.
Okay.
I
And
would
then
say
for
that's a real big one. Like if there's still some psychological things like grinding on the situation, on the person, on what happened, whatever that is, there's that blend splendor. So basically I'm kind of like breaking down in pieces of the PTSD kit, which is you start off with tarragon, then you hit rue to disconnect and come out of fight flight and be able to process and not go to weird hypotheticals, because that is tied to the stress response and the trauma response. The hyssop diminishes the back and forth between you and the person, and it diminishes the tendency to absorb negativity in situations. And then the splendor just flushes out anything emotional that's left over. I mean, a splendor was made specifically for PTSD. And that you had the rug pulled out from you so hard, I mean, that is a big stress response, trauma response, but I would say that is traumatic stress, and so you might have been able to pull a good portion of it out, but you're still probably dealing with like your guard being up. And do you have the thing where you have like startle really easy?
yeah, and even in,
Yeah.
like as we're
So you
talking
got a
about
little
it
bit of
now, like
PTSD. Yeah, you got a little bit of
yeah,
PTSD.
mhm.
Yeah. So like
So okay.
I would go through that, we have a PTSD kit, or if you have the oils, tarragon, then rue, then hyssop, then splendor. And you can follow the patterns that are on the thing, or you can just inhale them. Like you can just sit. And when I was doing stuff with the guys coming back from the war, I didn't have them do patterns. I would just have them hold the bottle, inhale it, hold the next bottle, inhale it, hold the next bottle, inhale it. And, we were getting good results. And so, yeah, but like the startle response, there's other things too that you would look for, but the startle response usually means, like you said, the guard is up and you get startled really easy. That's you're still in a bit of a traumatic state.
Yeah,
You're
as
still in
one
that
example,
yeah.
my son's skateboard went out from under him and I was in the house and
Yeah.
I could feel like electricity. Like it felt
Yeah.
like my vagus nerve was like plugged
Yeah.
into a socket.
Yeah. Yeah, so try doing that and just see if you can get things to calm down. Helichrysum would be an add-on, and marjoram would be an add-on, but the PTS protocol would be the big one.
Okay, I'll start with
Yeah.
that. Well, thank you for sharing all your amazing knowledge
Oh,
and
you're so
wisdom.
sweet.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, and sorry that happened to you.